Okay. Get your cardboard slid out there. And now it's about getting this next full tile in here. Get you situated here in the corner. Oh man. I'm already getting tired. But hey. It's okay. I can do it. I can do it. All situated. Of course, if you had help, you wouldn't have to do it exactly like this, but there's no rhyme or reason what square is, what straight it is, because it's just all about making it look halfway decent with the pieces that they have cut and notched and all that, you know. Okay. That one doesn't look too bad. You almost have to look at every single line and how it mismatches and all that. That one looks nice. Okay. Measure. My 12 inches is right on where it needs to go. So far, so good. And now, there, before I put that next one, I should put the one off in the corner. And that was the broken one. Or it was broken before. That's going to fit right there. Look at that. It's right off of the edge. Good grief. See, I'm going to have to build that one up for sure. Okay. At least I have some stuff, some shims. If you didn't have shims, what would you be doing right now? Okay, so I'll have to look and see all my shimming material. This is what I have to work with. So I'll make something work and get it down in there and get it to line up. That's because their stuff was off so far. I should have looked underneath this. I thought there was some stuff there, but no, nothing. I couldn't really have shifted it this much over. I still would have had to put some shims in there. Alright, but I won't have to put any shims over here because that big piece flops in there. So it's just this little piece. I'll get working on it. Let's see, I got that shimmed up just right. And see how nice and straight that line is, but it's not going to work. And I was thinking, remember I said I may have to go to the store and get a saw, or get a saw blade, masonry blade, cut that side off about 5/16 to nothing, about 6 inches long or so. And you're like, well, why should you have to do that? That looks fine. But we've got to still take into consideration these measurements. And I've got 24 inches right down here. But look what I have here. 23 and 5/8. 23 and 5/8. And that would be, if you're thinking about it, 23 and 5/8. And they had all these fitting before. If I were to, I would have to take this and shave that side off about 3/8 of an inch to nothing, so I could take this and push it back. But don't lose focus. Don't win the battle and lose the war. Okay, because we've also got to look at this line here. This line needs to be straight. Now, can you see how it's not straight, is it? Look at that. You look down there, and in order for it to be a straight line, using the tiles that they had before, I've got to move this one out that way. This one out that way, don't I? You can see how it dive bombs in? Look at that. There's no way all of these other tiles are going to fit if I don't have a nice straight line here. I could pull a chalk line from here to the end, and I would have to pull this edge over about 5/16 or even more. I'd have to pull that one out a little bit. That one. And so what I have to do is I've got to push this one over, so that's going to let a gap there. So I'm going to have to take this tile that I had in here, and I'm going to have to push that over. And I'm going to have to take this tile and push that one over just a little bit. And so I've got to do some monkeying around with these tiles to make this line straight. And in order to do that, I'm going to have a gap right here, and I'm going to have no gap at that end to make it work. And that's just how I'm going to have to do it. They didn't cut the tiles straight or anything. I'll mess around with this, and I'll show you when I get done what it looks like here. Okay? And I'll have room to put this tile in without doing anything with these tiles. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm just going to take my putty knives, and I have a nice stiff putty knife. Look at the rounded edges. I've used that so much. Scraped and grout lines to get stuff off, to seal floors and stuff. Look at that. See how thick that putty knife is? This is nice and sturdy and stiff. And so once I push that over, I get a little gap there and push that over a little bit. And I'll use this. I might even use that. I'll use my broken crummy screwdriver if I have to. I use this as a little pry bar. I was going to throw that away years ago, and I thought, no, I should keep it. And I use that all the time, you know, for different things to beat on and stuff. Okay, so now I've got to do some finagling, and I'll get it, because when I dry fitted this, I fit it in exactly the same way, and I had to jockey these all out to make sure that all this was going to fit and line up, because we want all these lines to look halfway decent. I mean, they're looking halfway decent now, aren't they? When I get done shifting it, I'll show you, I'll walk around and show you the lines, and they'll look halfway decent still. Okay? Alright. I'll be back in a second. Well, with some little maneuvering, I got it. See there? This gap is bigger now, a little bit, and I had to just kind of finagle. Let's see how straight this line is. I don't think it's straight yet. It's pretty straight. You see that line? If you were to look down there, imaginary line, if anything, that seam right there would have to come out further. And then it would make the gap bigger. Well, see, I had to maneuver things. I had to push this over, create a little bit bigger gap here. And that's the same gap that was there before. See how big that gap is? Look at that. So I made that about the same. And I had to kind of push some stuff out. And see, I've got a tight line here, slight gap there, slight gap here, tight line there. Now see, if I were to push that out further, this gap would get bigger. And if that gap's bigger, then I would have to push this one over, and that gap's already pretty big. See? And that looks fine there. Okay, so I'm gonna start putting in these other tiles. Apparently I didn't have to cut that out after all. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting these other tiles in here, same way as I did these, and I'll show you. Well, let's see. How are we gonna do that? I'll have to find the tiles, because I need to put that long one in there first before I put that flat one in. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that's that one right there. See, I have some other cuts over here, and I marked those. I marked them before, and I'll figure out which one goes where. You know. Halfway home. See how the color of these tiles are slightly different than the color of those tiles. All those tiles are going to be the same colors from a different dye lot run. They didn't buy these concrete pavers over here the same time that they bought these, even though they bought them at the same store. And that's what happens. You get a different palette, a different run, or whatever, the color's slightly off. But that's okay. All that's going to be the same. I'm glad I didn't put that big tile over here or that one over there or something and have a checkerboard type look. I would have noticed that once I got out there further, wouldn't I have? And then I would have changed them, because I don't like doing stuff like that. I try to match existing conditions whenever I can.